Good evening students. Now start your chapter new, that is 12th chapter, fashion design and merchandising. So first of all we have to cover about the introductory part, that is fashion design and merchandising are among the most exciting career option in today's world. In a country like India where textile industries have been thriving for ages, the recent boom in fashion designing had led to new prospects in the exciting domain of garment and accessory design. So, the fashion industry satisfies both the creative urge and the materialistic needs of the people. You hear the term fashion merchandising many times. Did you ever think what goes into it? Let us understand merchandising from its origin. You can recall from your early history lesson that barter of product and crafts was the state of trading practices. Slowly trading moved to what was available was saleable, so there were no complication in distribution system. However, the year 1920 gave birth to ready to wear, and soon retailers realized the sale of such garment was big business. In a very short span of time, fashionable became the most important type of merchandise in department stores. As a result of the economic opportunity of fashion, a new specialization came into being, fashion merchandising. So, there are some significance of fashion merchandising. These are fashion design and merchandising will enable you to understand how the fashion business works. It includes all the processes involved with producing raw material, apparel and accessories, and the retail stores that sell fashion merchandise to the public. It is a part of the fashion business where you also learn about textile, fabric and the fiber used to make them. Fashion merchandising equips to first respond to what, why and when a style becomes a fashion, and then helps to determine its suitability for the particular retail operation and for what length of time. So simply put, it encompasses planning, buying and selling. So basic concept: fashion today is a big business employing millions of people in design, manufacturing, distribution, marketing, retailing, advertising, communication, publishing and consulting. So to understand fashion design, one need to understand the nature of fashion and how it works, the fundamentals of fashion and the relationship between fashion and the factors that affect it are also essential concept to be understood. So what is fashion terminology? Fashion is a complex subject and certain words and phrases are often used to discuss various aspects of fashion. These should be understood it in order to understand the concept of fashion industry. These include fashion, style, fads and classics. So what is fashion? Fashion is a style or style most popular at a given time. Style is any particular look or characteristic in apparel and accessories. A style may come and go in fashion, but the specific style always remains. So next is fads. Fads are short-lived fashion, can come and go in a single season. They lack the design strength to hold consumer attention. For example, hot pants, baggy pants and unmatched button. So last one is your classic. Classic are style that never become completely absolute but instead remain more or less accepted for an extended period. Classic is characterized by simplicity of design, which keeps it from being easily dated. Example of classic include blazer jackets, polo shirt and channel suit. So next is fashion development. To understand the working of the fashion industry, one has to have knowledge of fashion fundamentals. First in the sequence is to know how the fashion business developed. Thus the history of fashion helped the designer to make decisions for the present day and future fashion. Ideas from the past are often reinterpreted for today's fashion. Fashion as we know it is relatively new. In ancient and medieval times, styles remained practically unchanged for a century at a time. So during Renaissance, Western civilization discovered different cultures, customs and costumes, leading to acceleration in fashion change. With the availability of new fabric and ideas, people earn for more new things. So next is the France, the center of the fashion. Okay, the France dominance over international fashion began in early 18th century. Until industrial revolution, people belonged to two main classes, wealthy and poor. One, the wealthy could afford fashionable clothes. By the turn of the 18th century, in King Louis XIV's court member became the trendsetter of taste, making Paris the fashion capital of Europe. Many of the French cities were supplying the court with silk fabric, ribbons, and laces. At the time, intricate seaming of the fashion required painstaking hand sewing. All the clothes were handmade and custom made, that is, made to fit the customer's exact measurement. France became the center of the fashion due to support from the royal court and the development of the silk industry there. Couture was the term used for the art of dressmaking. A male designer was a couture and his female counterpart was a couturier. So next, the industrial revolution marked the beginning of technological advances in textile and apparel production. So the industrial revolution marked the beginning of the technological advances in textile and apparel production. Due to the development, more fabric were produced in less time. During this time, spinning jenny and power looms were invented. This gave rise to development of American textile industry. Rapidly increasing trade and industry in return created a middle class with money to spend on the luxuries of life, including better clothing. The invention of sewing machine turned the handcraft into an industry. This democratized fashion and made it accessible for everyone. In 1859, Isaac Singer developed the foot treadle for the sewing machine, which left the hands free to guide the fabric. An early use of sewing machines was to make Civil War uniforms. So in 1849, fabric intended for tents and wagon covers was used to long wearing pants with pocket for tools by a young boy, Levi Status. Later these became popular and were called denims. This was the beginning of the clothes specially made for laborers. This is the only apparel that has remained same for the last nearly 150 years. Women started wearing separate skirts and blouses in 1880. This was a step towards manufacture of ready-to-wear clothes for women. Length and the waistlines could be easily adjusted, and this made it possible for the working class to add variety to their wardrobe simply by mixing separates. So, by the 19th century, affordable fashion was made available to the general public through fairs and bazaars. The traveling merchants brought clothes to this market, and both buyers and sellers usually bargained. As a large number of people settled in town, general stores were established to cater to the demands. With the growing demand for the variety of goods, retail stores grew in cities. So next is fashion evolution. First of all, what is fashion cycle? The way in which the fashion changes is usually described as a fashion cycle, or a period of time of lifespan during which the fashion through obsolescence. So first is introduction of the style. Designer interpret their research and creative ideas into apparel and then offer the new style to the public. Design are created by changing elements such as line, color, shape, fabric and details and their relationship to one another. Second is increase in popularity. As the new fashion is purchased, worn and seen by many people, it may begin to rise in popularity. And next is peak in popularity. When the fashion is at the height of the popularity, it may be in such demand that many manufacturers copy it or produce adaptation of it at different price level. And next is decline in popularity. Eventually so many copies are mass produced that fashion conscious people tired of the style and begin to look for something new. These declining styles are put on sale rack in the retail stores. Last is the rejection of a style or obsolescence. In the last phase of the fashion cycle, some consumers have already turned to new looks, thus beginning of the new cycle. So next is fashion merchandising. Fashion merchandising refers to the planning required to have the right merchandise at the right time, at the right place, at the right price, and with the right sales promotion. If all these conditions are planned, one can achieve maximum profits. To understand fashion merchandising well, it is important to examine the role of the fashion merchandising plays in manufacturing, buying, promoting, and selling fashion items. Let us examine the role of the fashion merchandiser in each of the aspects. First is in manufacturing, a fashion merchandiser makes significant input on the type of fabric used to make a piece of clothing. Having a strong historical and socio-cultural understanding of the fabric helps change a designer vision into reality. By applying the knowledge about fabric and clothing construction, a fashion merchandiser takes a designer piece and find the best way to manufacture the item, at the same time taking things like price and target market into consideration. And next is buying. Become part of the fashion merchandising. When the merchandiser buys fashion item to be presented in the store, a fashion merchandiser must be aware of the target market of the fashion item and also be very well versed in fashion trend analysis and forecasting. This allows more accurate ordering. A fashion merchandiser working with a designer will once again offer expertise to designer on textile and fabric. And next is in the event of a fashion merchandiser is working for his designer, promoting the designer product to stores that may want to buy large quantities in a large number of one priority role. Not only is the fashion merchandiser required to have a creative mind and strong visual merchandising skill, production skills must be sharp as well. Fashion merchandising promotes a designer items through the use of fashion shows where creation and visual effect are executed to capture the attention of potential buyers. Additionally, fashion merchandisers seek out the target market for designer clothing such as children clothing stores, department store, or discount retailers. The final component of fashion merchandising is selling. A fashion merchandiser who works with a designer is responsible for selling fashion item to store which then sell to consumer. Again, the merchandiser must have an idea about forecasting and market trends to give recommendation regarding production of an item. Creativity is important because the merchandiser must offer suggestion on how to display the items within the store. When a fashion merchandiser works for a retail store, responsibility include buying and presenting fashion item within the store. So next is merchandising take place at several levels in fashion industry. There are three levels of merchandising. First is retail organization merchandising, buying agency merchandising, and expert house merchandising, and the target market. So first of all, retail organization merchandising, it is a specialized management function with the fashion industry. It is a business that moves the fashion world from designer showroom to retail sale floor into the hands of the consumer. It is achieved by the internal planning that take place within the retail organization. So it ensures that adequate amount of the merchandise are on hand and sold at prices that the consumer are willing to pay to ensure the profitable operation. Second is buying agency merchandising provides service for good buying consultancy. Buying agency act as procurement office for the buyers. Selling through buying agencies is profitable for exporters as it helps in significant cost and time saving. The responsibility of the buying agent is to identify vendor, negotiate cost, check in progress, process quality, and perform pre-shipment quality inspection. They keep a regular control over quality during production process. So next is expert house merchandising. To understand this, it is best to understand the role of a merchandiser is an export house. There are two types of merchandiser is an export house. That is, first is the buyer merchandiser and the production merchandiser. The buyer merchandiser act as link between the buyer and the manufacturer. They have the responsibility of ensuring that the product is developed as per the requirement of the buyer. So they have the responsibility of sourcing, sampling, and communication with the buyer. The production merchant, on the other hand, as a link between production and buyer merchant, they have the responsibility of ensuring that the production goes according to the schedule and requirement of the buyer. So last is the target market. It is defined as a category of consumer one is targeting and for the selling the product. It is essential to understand the target market as this will allow the sales department to focus on the category of consumer who are most likely to purchase the offering. It is also to ensure the highest return for the marketing sales expenditure. This can be done through market segmentations. Market segmentation is a strategy that involves dividing a larger market into subsets of consumers who have common need and application of the goods and service offered in the market. So that's all for the today. Thank you so much.